Did you know 3 out of 4 people with a TSP had no idea what their options are when they leave their jobs? And the Government Accountability Office found most people don't even realize they've got 4 basic choices, and chances are you've been overlooking them too. And since the TSP is run a lot like a 401k, those same rules apply. And because when you leave the military or federal service, that's a huge transition moment in your life. And if you don't know your options with your TSP, you could leave a lot of money on the table, or worse, cost yourself taxes and penalties that you didn't need to pay. So let's go through these 4 options one by one, and we'll talk about what's smart, what's risky, and what to watch out for. So let's start with the easiest option on the table. Just leave your TSP right where it is in the TSP. Simple, right? Now, one quick heads up. Once you leave your job, you cannot keep adding new contributions. That part is done. But the money that's already in there, it stays put, keeps invested in the funds you picked, and if it all goes well, keeps growing for years, maybe even decades. For a lot of people, this is a really solid choice. The TSP is famous for its rock bottom fees, and the core funds are straightforward and reliable. And it's kind of the ultimate set it and forget it move. And honestly, it has worked out beautifully for millions of people. However, before you just decide to leave it be, you absolutely have to know what is under the hood of your own TSP account. It's not just one big pot of money. First, how much of your TSP is in traditional and how much is in Roth? And this matters way more than most people realize. Your traditional balance is all pre-tax money. You have not paid Uncle Sam or the IRS a dime on it yet. And trust me, he will be waiting when you start pulling it out in retirement. And your Roth balance is the opposite because you already paid the taxes up front. So now it gets to grow tax free and come out tax free later. Knowing that, a split is a game changer for your tax planning down the road. Now, the next one is especially for the veterans watching this video. Do you have any tax exempt contributions sitting inside a TSP? That is completely separate from your traditional and Roth TSP. Here's why this matters. If you ever deploy to a combat zone, every dollar you put into your TSP during that time went in tax free. That means when you pull it out in retirement, it also comes out tax free. No income taxes and no IRS in your pocket. That's rare because it does not exist in a 401k, 403b, or 457. This is basically a golden ticket and one of the most unique benefits you can ever have in a retirement account as a member of the armed forces, because it's a triple tax advantage TSP with tax-free contributions, tax-free growth, and tax-free withdrawal. And I have some of that in my old military TSP when I deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan when I was on active duty in the Air Force. Now, let's talk about vesting. This one sneaks up on people, especially those who separate earlier than planned. And vesting simply means you have earned the right to keep the government's matching contributions. For most federal civilians, you need 3 years of service to be fully vested in the agency match, or 2 years if you're in the executive level or congressional staff. For members of the uniformed services, it's 2 years under the blended retirement system, or BRS. Here's the key. If you leave before you are vested, you will always keep every dollar you personally contributed, but the 1% agency match, the free money, gets clawed back. It does not vanish into thin air. It just never becomes yours. Now, for many of you in your 50s, this is water under the bridge. You have been in long enough that vesting is not even a question. But for someone who has only put in, let's say, a couple of years and is eyeing a career change, this can be the difference between walking away with thousands of extra dollars or leaving them on the table. It's one of those small fine print rules that has a very real impact. Now, if I pull up a TSP statement and show you the breakdown, you will see separate buckets lined out, and you've got your traditional contributions, that's the pre-tax stuff. Then there's the Roth side, you already pay taxes on that. You will also see your agency or service matching funds, but then tucked away, there's a line item for tax-exempt contributions. Here's the thing. A lot of folks don't even realize they have this bucket, or forget it exists until way down the road. The tax exempt money is incredibly valuable. You don't want to mix it up or lose track of it because how you handle it can make a real difference in your future withdrawals, taxes, and even how much flexibility you have with Roth conversions. It's one of those hidden gems inside the TSP that you absolutely need to be aware of and treat with care. Now, let's start with the most common move, rolling your traditional TSP into a traditional IRA. This is a direct tax-free transfer. Your pre-tax money stays pre-tax. It's a simple process. You have more investment choices to choose from in your traditional IRA, unlike your TSP. However, there is a massive gotcha here for anyone with a higher income. If you do a backdoor Roth IRA every year because you exceed the Roth IRA income limits, then I don't recommend this step. And if you put pre-tax dollars in your traditional IRA, it would trigger a pro-rata rule and tax you on the backdoor Roth IRA conversion because now you have a mix of pre-tax dollars and after-tax dollars in your traditional IRA. So again, if you do a backdoor Roth IRA conversion each year because your income is too high to contribute directly, rolling pre-tax TSP funds into a traditional IRA can trigger something called a pro-rata rule. In simple terms, it contaminates your IRA. And when you do your backdoor Roth IRA conversion, the IRS sees that pre-tax money and says, hold on, we're going to tax a portion of that conversion. It completely messes up a powerful retirement strategy. So if the words backdoor Roth IRA are part of your financial life, you need to be aware of the pro-rata rule that could trigger a taxable event. Next, you can roll your Roth TSP into a Roth IRA. And this one is clean and simple. Roth money moves to a Roth account. No taxes, no fuss. Just keep in mind that it is an irreversible process. Once you move it into your Roth IRA, you cannot put it back into your TSP or move it to a Roth 401k later on if you change your mind. However, it is a great way to consolidate your Roth accounts and get more investment options. And you could convert your traditional TSP into a Roth IRA. And this is not a simple rollover. This is a Roth conversion. You are intentionally moving pre-tax money into a post-tax account, and the government wants its cut. The entire amount you convert is added to your taxable income for that year. If you convert $100,000, $10,000, or $1 million, your taxable income goes up by that same amount. And this could be a smart strategic move if you're in a low income year, but it can be a devastatingly expensive mistake if you do it without planning for that massive tax bill. So I don't recommend putting all $1 million from, let's say, traditional TSP to your Roth IRA, right? Your third option is to roll your TSP into your new employer's retirement plan, like a 401k or a 403b. And this is all about consolidation and convenience. And if you leave the military and get a civilian federal job, for instance, you can simply roll your military TSP right into your new civilian TSP account. It's a seamless and keeps everything in one place within the same gray system. And if you move to a private sector job, you can roll your TSP into your new company's 401k. The first step always is to call the new plan administrator and ask if they accept rollovers from the Thrift Savings Plan. Never assume they do. Now, if they give you the green light, and there are a few things to consider. If your new 401k plan has a feature called the Rule of 55, this could be a great move. The Rule of 55 allows you to take penalty-free withdrawals from your 401k if you leave that job in the year you turn 55 or later. By rolling your traditional TSP into that 401k, those funds can become eligible for the same early withdrawal privilege. The same logic applies to your Roth TSP. If your new plan has a Roth 401k option, you can typically move your Roth TSP money right into it. If your new plan does not offer a Roth option, then your next best bet is likely rolling it over to a Roth IRA, as we just discussed. But the Rule of 55 is not a good idea for the Roth 401k or Roth TSP because a portion of your earnings will still get taxed and penalized if you're not 59 and a half. The Rule of 55 should just be used for your traditional TSP or traditional 401k. But keep in mind that just like with the IRA rollovers, you have to be extremely careful. Moving your traditional TSP into a Roth 401k is considered a Roth conversion. It becomes a taxable event in the year you do it, and you'll be on the hook for the taxes. And you can always schedule a consultation with me at firesuch.com/consultation and I'll guide you step by step. And the fourth option is taking a distribution, which is just a fancy way of saying cashing it out. And this is the option that requires the most caution, because if you do it wrong, it can come with some painful taxes and penalties. The most important thing to know here is the age rules. The TSP has its own version of the Rule of 55. If you separate from federal service during or after the year you turn 55, you can take withdrawals from your traditional TSP without getting hit with a 10% early withdrawal penalty. Your withdrawals will still be taxed as ordinary income, but you'll avoid that extra 10% penalty. For your Roth TSP, the magic number is generally 59.5. So to get your earnings out penalty-free and tax-free, you need to be at least 59.5, and your Roth TSP account needs to have been open for at least 5 years. Now, if you're a special category employee like federal law enforcement officers or firefighters, your rules look a little different. You guys usually get some extra flexibility. In fact, you can often tap into your TSP penalty free if you retire at age 50 or later, or once you've hit 25 years of qualifying service. It's kind of the government's way of saying, hey, we know your career started earlier and way more demanding, so you shouldn't have to wait until 59.5 or 55 like everyone else. And there's also the substantially equal periodic payments following the rule of 72T or SEPs or SEPPs. But I'm going to make a completely separate video about this in the future, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't done it already. And if you don't meet any of those requirements and still decide to cash out, brace yourself. It's gonna sting. Not only will you owe regular income tax on the money, but the IRS is also gonna tack on a 10% early withdrawal penalty for good measure. That combo can take a big bite out of your savings. So bottom line is, cashing out should really be your absolute last resort. So again, the four choices sitting in front of you: leave it in the TSP, roll it over to an IRA, roll it into a new employer's plan, or take a distribution. And here's the thing, there's not a one size fits all best move here. The right answer depends on you, your tax bracket, your other investments, how soon you might need access to the money, and how comfortable you are managing it all. But the real goal here is to move out of that foggy ball of confusion and into crystal clear territory where you actually know the rules of the road, because one wrong move can be expensive. And we're not talking about a few bucks. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars you worked your whole career to save. And this is your retirement we're talking about. You don't want to just wing it. You want to feel confident, like you've got both hands on the wheel and you're steering in the right direction. So what do you think? Are you leaving the military or the federal service soon? Let me know in the comment section down below. And this has been another beast of a video, and I hope you got a lot out of it.